Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Today we're going to discuss somebody called Sant Bhindranwale Ji Khalsa Bhindranwale. Now, this name conjures many different images. For some, it's a gun-toting militant. For some, it's an ardent fanatic. For others, it's a saint, it's a sadhu. For some people, it's somebody who wanted to separate Sikhs from India. For others, it's somebody who wanted to get rights for the Sikhs in India. Not just for Sikhs, but other people as well. But what we feel is that nobody's ever bothered to delve in to the foundation of Santaji, the type of country they were living in, the kind of climate they were living in. What prompted this individual to do what he'd done and become famous across the world, loved and loathed in equal measure, loved by those who advocate human rights, civil rights, loathed by those who are completely against those things. But before we go into Santaji's childhood perhaps and the things that were happening when they were growing up, I think for the whole episode of Santaji's life to make sense, we need to backtrack to 1947. Now, 1947, as we all know, was the partition of India. And it's worthwhile for us to know that before the partition of India, before India became independent, we were under the British rule. Under the British rule, many savage attacks were made on India. And they tried to enslave India as part of the British Empire. But a few people rose to break those shackles of slavery. Now, out of those people, Sikhs made 1.6% of the entire Indian population. Yet the sacrifices that were made to gain independence, i.e. those people that were hung, those people that were exiled, those people that were blown up by cannons, of those, 90% of the sacrifices came from the Sikh nation. Now, to recognize that great sacrifice, I mean, even Udham Singh, Bhagat Singh, Kartar Singh Sarabha, all these great prominent people, Indian freedom fighters, came from the Sikh background. And there was no accident that they came from the Sikh background, because we are taught to fight against injustice, to fight against tyranny. Now, when 1947 comes and India received their independence, they made certain promises to the Sikh nation. Now, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, he said in 1931, no constitution of India will be made if it doesn't satisfy the Sikh nation. And if it doesn't satisfy them, then they will be just to raise their swords against us because of their great sacrifice for us. Nehru also said, I don't see any problem with an area in the north being set up where Sikhs can experience the glow of freedom. So we choose to cast our lot with India. We've given them everything. 1947 comes, and what happens? Rather than fulfill their promises to us, they forget everything that they said. They forget the fact that we are Sikh. They forget the fact that we are Punjabi. And more importantly, they forget the fact that that nation exists because of our sacrifices. What do they then do? They maneuver against our language. They don't recognize Punjabi as a language. In the States Reorganization Commission of 1955, every state is recognized according to their language apart from Punjab. They split Punjab into three. They take Haryana and Himachal out of Punjab and create separate states. They take Chandigarh away as our capital. So rather than experience a glow of freedom, we're actually being bombarded and being enslaved. They then work on our culture. They start to mingle into our culture and they start trying to distort it. But what the most poignant loss that we had, that we lost the birthplace of our eternal Guru, our King of Kings, Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Nankana Sahib. That went to Pakistan without any care for our feelings, without any regard that the person, the King of Kings, who started this faith, we've taken his birthplace. So in that backdrop, where promises have been crushed, aspirations have been just completely obliterated, in that backdrop, we have lost pretty much everything. The economy of Punjab is being worked against by the state machinery. The culture of Punjab is being worked against by the state machinery. The electricity is being taken, the water, the grain, everything is being taken, everything is being maneuvered against. But in this backdrop, where we've lost everything, our eternal gurus, in 1947, the time when we did lose everything, blessed us with a beautiful gift. 1947, February the 12th, Sant Bhindranwale Ji Khalsa Bhindranwale is born. Born in a small village called Rode, which was in the district of Faridkot. Janel Singh Ji belonged to quite a large family. Their father, Baba Joginder Singh, their mother, Mata Nihal Kaur. Janel Singh Ji was the youngest of 7 brothers and 1 sister. They went to primary school up until year 5, and they were just a normal child from a normal family, but their mind was always immersed in Gurbani, even from a very small age, immersed in Gurbani. But what was more important about them was how they were a people's person from a very young age. They would go to school, they would chill with their friends, but more importantly, they would share a lot of things that they had. And when I talk about share, I talk about Janel Singh Ji had a particular love for shalliyan, corn on the cob, and they always used to, have about 3, 4, 5 in their pockets. But rather than eat the shalliya themselves, they used to distribute it to all their friends, even from a very young age. And because of this, they were given the nickname, as a lot of kids are given nicknames, Vandkhana. Now, Vandkhana meant somebody who shares absolutely everything. So we can see, just from this small little thing, that Janel Singh, from a very young age, was somebody who was into equality, who was into looking after other people, was in touch with people. But because they weren't too passionate about the academic side of schooling, they went straight into agriculture. In agriculture, they were tilling their land, they were working on the land, they were sowing their crops, they were sowing their seeds, they were watering their fields, they were using buffaloes to work on the land. And so this is somebody who was very in touch also, not with just people, but with the land. Not just with the land, but working hard with that. So if we look at that, just those 3 facets of Janel Singh Ji, as a young lad, as a young child, you've got somebody who's been called Vandkhana. Now, one of the basic tenets of Sikhi is Vand Ke Shakna. And one of these basic tenets comes from our Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Vand Shakna means to share with others. Sant Ji had that in them, Janel Singh Ji had that in them from a very young age. Working the farm, kirt karni, working the land, sweating from your brow, not just sitting idly at home or just locking yourself in a room and just doing bhakti or just going to school and all you care about is your studies. Janel Singh not only shared everything, but he worked hard, and whatever he had, he shared not only with his family, but with the people around him. And that was another basic tenet of Sikhi, which is kirt karni, working hard. Now, I've already mentioned about Janel Singh, who was, even when he was at school, a lot of his attention was always on Gurbani. And what is the basic tenet of Sikhi is Naam Japna. So from a very young age, Janel Singh, the boy, the lad, was following in Guru Nanak Dev Ji's footsteps of Vand Ke Shakna, Kirt Karni and Naam Japna. These are the basic principles of Sikhi. These are the basic principles that make Sikhs work for others rather than themselves. And Janel Singh, as a boy, he internalized that and he lived it from a very young age. And being immersed in Gurbani from a very young age, Janel Singh took Amrit at the age of 5. Not only because they were immersed in Gurbani and they loved Sikh history, they loved their gurus, they loved Baba Deep Singh Ji, but also because their family's roots laid in Sikhi as well. So they took Amrit at the age of 5, and from that age they continue their journey into Sikhi. And as they're taking their journey into Sikhi, they continue their hard work on the land, they continue looking after their family, they continue looking after the people in the village. A person, a very special person called Baba Gurbachan Singh Ji Bhindranwale, the 12th Jathedar, Saint General of the Damdami Tiksal, come to visit Pind Rode, the village Rode. Now before I go on to a bit about that little escapade, I just want to talk a bit about the Damdami Tiksal and a brief history about what it is, more importantly what it means. Now the Damdami Taksar was created by our 10th master, the King of Kings, Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Now when Guru Gobind Singh Ji knew that I'm going to direct my Sikhs to obey the Guru Granth Sahib Ji as the everlasting Guru, this will be their Guru, this is the person that they're going to look to for solace, for courage, for encouragement, for spiritual guidance, I need my Sikhs to know inside and out what Gurbani means, how to read it properly, how to give it the full respect. So at Damdama Sahib, they create the Damdami Taksar, a Sikh university, a Sikh seminary, a Sikh moving university where people will come and they would learn about Gurbani, what it means, and how they can apply it to their day-to-day life. Now, Guru Gobind Singh Ji created this Damdami Taksar from Damdama Sahib. And one of the Jathedars, now this is how special the Taksar is. Now if you've got an organization that's created by men, then you don't know whether it's going to flop, whether it's going to succeed. If you've got an organization that has been created by the King of Kings, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, you can imagine how much strength that organization is going to have. Now one of the Jathedars of that Taksar, Baba Deep Singh Ji. There's not much I have to say about Baba Deep Singh Ji that a lot of people don't know. This man his name resonates throughout history. We worship that man today. He fought with his head on his hand to defend Harmandir Sahib. After Baba Deep Singh Ji, there were Jathedars, Saint Generals, called people like Baba Gurbaksh Singh Ji. Baba Gurbaksh Singh, when he knew that Ahmed Shah Abdali, a Mughal ruler, a Mughal tyrant, was going to come to Harmandir Sahib and blow it up, he alongside 30 Sikhs decide to fortify Harmandir Sahib and defend it. They all become shaheed, and Ahmed Shah Abdali blows up Harmandir Sahib with gunpowder and cannons. But that little story continues to give us inspiration. Baba Gurbaksh Singh and those 30 saints were no match really for thousands upon thousands upon thousands of Mughal tyrant soldiers. Yet they gave us a shining example of how you defend your religious place, the place of worship. So this is what the Damdami Taksar means. Now Baba Gurbachan Singh, from this prestigious, from this amazing lineage, is the 12th Saint General of the Taksar. Now the Taksar, like I said, is a moving university. So what that means is they'll go to different places and do prachar of Sikhi, the right prachar, the way it should be, that's immersed into Guru Nanak Dev Ji's teachings and Guru Gobind Singh Ji's teachings. So they'll go around from village to village and they will explain what Sikhi means, and so many youngsters will jump on board because there's a place where they will get the proper knowledge, the proper inspiration. Now Baba Gurbachan Singh goes to village Rodde. He could have gone to any village. He gets there and he sees this young man, this young boy, Jarnail Singh Khalsa, and he sees something in him that nobody else does. Because to the villagers and to his family and to his friends, Jarnail Singh Khalsa is a great lad. You know, he looks after us, he doesn't do anything bad. He thinks about others before he thinks about himself. He's just a great human being. But Baba Gurbachan Singh, Bhindranwale, sees something even greater. Their vision, their foresight, they look at this young man and they see something in him that will do something for the whole Panth. And because Baba Gurbachan Singh can recognize that this young man will one day do something, he requests Baba Joginder Singh, the father of Jarnail Singh Khalsa, can I take this young man to Damdami Taksar and give him the knowledge of Sikhi? So what Baba Gurbachan Singh does, takes Jarnail Singh Khalsa to the Taksar under his wing and becomes his mentor. And he teaches him about Gurbani, teaches him about the scriptures, teaches him about the history. More importantly, teaches him about the history of the Taksar and what it means. And when there's been crazy times in our history, the Damdami Taksar has always stood up and fought. In the Taksar, he learns, Jarnail Singh Khalsa learns about Gatka, he learns about all aspects of Sikhism. He then leaves the Taksar and gets married. Marries Bibi Pritam Kaur and has 2 sons. And after those 2 sons, Baba Gurbachan Singh continues. What Jarnail Singh Khalsa does is he continues his work in the land, he continues his family life, and he also continues his studies at the Taksal. And Jarnail Singh Khalsa becomes a favourite student of Baba Gurbachan Singh because he could see this light in him. But then a massive thing happens, and at the age of 69, Baba Gurbachan Singh Khalsa Bhindranwale passed away. Now, this sent shivers down the spine of everybody because they felt that they had lost an amazing, great leader, a great leader who reminded them of people like Baba Deep Singh and Baba Gurbaksh Singh. After passing away, just before passing away, Baba Gurbachan Singh nominates somebody called Sant Kartar Singh Khalsa as the next Jathedar, as the next Saint General of Damdami Taksal. Now, to pass this baton on, Baba Gurbachan Singh saw something amazing in Sant Kartar Singh, and that is vilified and that's validated by history. Now, when I say that, when Sant Kartar Singh Bhindranwale became the Jathedar of the Saint General of Damdami Taksal, they rose to the forefront to talk about injustices in India. Now, in the 70s, when Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister of India, she became the Prime Minister, but in her election campaign, she used illegally some political machinery, which meant that her election campaign was null and void. Yet she became the Prime Minister of India. When people took out peaceful demonstrations, Sant Kartar Singh Khalsa Bhindranwale was one of the major people who led protests against her rule. She took out an emergency which lasted from 1975 to 1977, 21 months. Now, in that emergency, there was a rule by decree. What that means is the person at the top who's leading the country can create any law they want, it go unchallenged, it go through absolutely no procedure, which in effect means it becomes a dictatorship. So at that time, in the 1970s, when Indira Gandhi was a Prime Minister, the world's so-called largest democracy had turned into a dictatorship along the lines of Stalin, of Mussolini, of Hitler. So she was passing these laws and she was taking people's rights away from them. And guess who says, right, this is wrong, you can't do this? Sant Kartar Singh Khalsa Bhindranwale. Because he stands at the head of a Sikh organization that was created by Guru Gobind Singh to stand against injustice. And that's exactly what they've done. Now, Indira Gandhi gets very angry at the Sikhs of Punjab, and particularly Sant Kartar Singh and the Damdami Taksal, that you guys have highlighted the fact that I've created an illegal emergency. I'm sitting in as a Prime Minister when I shouldn't be the Prime Minister, and you guys are taking out processions against me. What does she do? She then calls an even bigger emergency in Punjab, where she says that no more than 5 people can stand in one place. Now, what does Sant Kartar Singh do? Sant Kartar Singh takes the same ideology of Guru Har Gobind Sahib. When the Mughal rulers said you cannot keep horses, you can't keep weapons, you can't do this, you can't do that, Guru Har Gobind Sahib does the exact opposite. Just to show that we are the sons and daughters of Akal Purkh. We do not bow to tyranny. Sant Kartar Singh does exactly the same. When she declares that no more than 5 people in Punjab can get together, Sant Kartar Singh takes out massive Nagar Kirtans, massive processions, just to let her know that we do not bow down to you. So that was one major thing about Sant Kartar Singh. Another thing, which is quite shocking and horrifying, is, and a lot of people don't know this, that in the 1970s, Indira Gandhi, because she comes from the family of Nehru, who had a particular hate of the Sikh appearance, of the Sikh faith, of the Sikh scriptures, she came from that lineage and she was instilled with that hate. What did she then do? She had doctors who used to go into Punjab schools, into houses. They'd pick out young girls and young guys and they'd carry out genital, female and male mutilation. Now, on a personal note, one of my uncles who was studying at that time in the 1970s said that when we were in school, we used to go into the backyards and they used to be full of blood. There was a time when there used to be people they used to fall ill and they never used to be able to walk or talk. Some used to pass away. Now there's a big fear that gripped Punjab at the time, and they thought there's some disease that's coming to Punjab. There's blood in the normal gut. There's blood in the gutters. There's blood in the backyards of schools. There's blood on the desks in schools. There's blood outside people's houses. Where is this coming from? And it came to the fore that Indira Gandhi was using doctors to mutilate the sex organs of young Sikh boys and girls so they couldn't reproduce. This is how horrifying, and this is how much of a sociopath and an absolute psycho Indira Gandhi actually was. And this is something that's hidden from a lot of people. And who brings this issue to the fore? Sant Kartar Singh Khalsa Bhindranwale. They tell people, look, this is happening to you. So people begin to prepare themselves. And it's highlighted that Indira Gandhi is doing this. Thirdly, to attack the Sikh scriptures, they give birth to a fake group called the Nirankaris. And the Nirankaris' sole purpose, being state-sponsored by Indira Gandhi, is to go into Punjab and start lambasting and start destroying Sikh scriptures, start insulting the Gurus, start doing this, start doing that. So on all fronts, already, even before Jarnail Singh Khalsa has hit the stage, she's already manoeuvring against the Sikh faith in a brutal, horrifying way. And the Damdami Taksal with Sant Kartar Singh stand against it. So already for Indira Gandhi, she's already got a bad taste in her mouth for the Sikhs because of her fascist background and her racist father. This only makes it worse. What makes it worse for Sikhs as a nation was that Sant Kartar Singh Khalsa Bhindranwale unexpectedly passes away in 1977 in a car accident. And the whole Sikh nation is rocked because they think, here was a Sant that was exactly like Baba Gurbachan Singh Khalsa, that was exactly like Baba Gurbakh Singh, exactly like Baba Deep Singh. Not only did they stand against tyranny and injustice, they gave us the strength to do it as well. But now Sant Kartar Singh has passed away. Who's going to lead us now? Who's going to remind us of Baba Deep Singh Ji? Before Sant Kartar Singh passed away, they nominated Jarnail Singh Khalsa and said, this is the man who should be leading the Damdami Taksal. Now, what is amazing that we have to look at Sant Jarnail Singh Khalsa before they became the Sant, is that Baba Gurbachan Singh Khalsa Bhindranwale and Baba Kartar Singh Khalsa Bhindranwale were such great souls. They literally revolutionized Sikhi in Punjab. They got so many people to take Amrit. But it took two major saint generals of the Damdami Taksal, the famous Damdami Taksal, started by Guru Gobind Singh, to polish the rough diamond that was Jarnail Singh Khalsa. It took their spiritual guidance, both of their spiritual guidance and blessing, to give Jarnail Singh Khalsa the strength to take ownership of the Damdami Taksal, to take the leadership of the Damdami Taksal. These two great souls had the vision to see what was lying in the future. The tidal waves were already there in Baba Gurbachan Singh Khalsa's time, in Baba Kartar Singh's time. The tidal waves, the small tidal waves of tyranny were coming into Punjab, but they could foresee a tsunami that had the potential to destroy everything in Punjab. So they needed to pick somebody who could push all that tyranny straight back. And who did they choose for the job? Jarnail Singh Khalsa, who in 1977 becomes Sant Jarnail Singh Khalsa Bhindranwale. So as the newly elected Jathedar Saint General of the Damdami Taksal, Sant Jarnail Singh Ji Khalsa Bhindranwale become a beacon of light in Punjab. This person, Sant Jarnail Singh, finds that as a farmer and other farmers around him, they are working their land, but they're getting no water to their fields. Why? Water is made in Punjab, and they're questioning, why don't we even have any water in our land? This Sant Jarnail Singh Khalsa sees all these children trying to study, but they don't have no electricity to study. They don't have no light to even read their books. Electricity is made in Punjab, and Sant Jarnail Singh thinks, why aren't we getting any electricity? This person, Sant Jarnail Singh, who in his childhood was called Vandakhana, who used to share everything, finds that he and the rest of the people around him in Punjab have less and less to share because they have no earnings. The government cap a price on all that the farmers can sow, all their crops, and what type of crops and what kind of seeds they can sow. So they don't even have control. Even though they're feeding the rest of India, they don't have the control of their own prices. So they have less and less to share. And then what Sant Jarnail Singh does is he raises these issues of water, of electricity, of grain, of crops, of not being recognized, of not having a recognized language. And more importantly, what Santji starts to talk about is the fact that I've been brought up as a Sikh. I come from a Sikh family. I have taken Amrit. I have studied under the tutelage and the mentorship of Baba Gurbachan Singh and Baba Kartar Singh. My whole life is immersed into Sikhi and Gurbani. But I'm not even recognized as a Sikh in the country I live in. The constitution doesn't even recognize my very faith and existence. So what does Santji do? This isn't one person thinking this. This is the whole of Punjab. Not just Sikhs, but Hindus, Muslims, Dalits, Jains, Christians. All of them were suffering from a lack of water. All of them were suffering from lack of electricity. They were all suffering from this. So what do people do? They see Sant Jarnail Singh and they see somebody who's so honest, who's so genuine, who's so courageous, who talks about Gurbani in such a simple and beautiful way, who gives us encouragement, who gives us motivation, who makes us want to live a better life. There were so many families in the mid-70s to the late 70s that were destroyed by alcohol and drug addiction. Farmers who couldn't feed their families, they could feed the rest of India. India would rob their earnings, but they used to go to sleep hungry themselves, these farmers. They couldn't even feed their own children. They get onto drugs because of depression. Farmers commit suicide. And Santji looks at these people and he thinks, what is happening to this nation? What is happening to Punjab? Not only have we been the sword arm of India, given them independence, but we are also the breadbasket of India. We're feeding them as well. Yet we go to bed hungry. We go to bed poor. And more importantly, we're going to bed being abused. So Santji raises these issues. Do these issues sound like the issues of a terrorist, of a fanatic? Or are these the issues of a social reformer, a political activist, a human rights advocate? Basic needs. Even Maslow, in his hierarchy of needs, talks about food, shelter, water, clothing. But he's seen as a great person, a great sociologist. Santji talks about exactly the same, but he is the terrorist. Why? Because it comes out the mouth of a Sikh, somebody who's not recognized in India. And what starts to happen? People flock to Santji. Why? He's the same people's person as he was when he was a kid. The person who used to talk to everybody, used to share everything. Only this time, he's sharing knowledge of Sikhi. He's sharing knowledge of injustice. Not only is he teaching people about Gurbani, he's telling them about injustices. Now we could see, even today, Santji was sitting at the platform where Baba Deep Singh Ji was. They had the same reverence that Baba Gurbachan Singh and Baba Kartar Singh Khalsa had. If they wanted to, they could have lived a cushy life. Traveled America, go to England, do programs like many of our so-called Babe do, travel in air-conditioned aeroplanes, lovely cars. Just promote basics of Sikhi. Let's teach people about Gurbani. But let's not tell them about their current status. Santji, a simple person, a normal farmer, decided to lift these issues and put himself in the firing line and carry on that wave that was led by Sant Kartar Singh Khalsa Bhindranwale. Now, for doing this, rather than sit down with the people of Punjab and Santji and talk about, right, you want water, you want electricity, let's talk about it. I know it's made in your Punjab, let's talk about it. Rather than deal with these issues in a diplomatic, humanitarian way, the government decided to abuse the Sikhs even more. And the most filthy abuse that reminds us of the Mughals era. Getting granthis from normal villages, from normal gurdwara, and forcibly shaving their beards off. getting women, stripping them naked, Sikh women, normal Sikh girls, and parading them village to village. Getting copies of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, our living Guru, and burning them. This is how the abuse started. And Sant Ji then raises the voice even more and says, Sikhs, don't accept this. We are not born to have our father burnt in the streets. Now, after this, the government decided to give the fake Nirankaris give him an even bigger free hand in Punjab. And they start to desecrate Gurbani. They start to burn Gurbani, and they start to insult Gurbani. Now, we've covered this in the Vaisakhi massacre of RajoanaTV, a previous episode. But a lot of things were done then, and Sant Jarnail Singh starts a resistance against these people. And how does Sant Jarnail Singh Khalsa Bhindranwale begin this resistance? In a two-way approach that's embedded in Sikhi. Miri Piri, Sant Sipahi, Saint Soldier. They, on the religious side, they tore, along with Bhai Amrik Singh, a very close companion, president of the Sikh Students Federation. They tour villages in Punjab, and they teach people about Gurbani. They teach people about real Sikh history, about what Sikhi is, the essence of it, the beauty of it. And what happens? People in their droves, in their hundreds of thousands, begin to take Amrit. They instill a sense of passion and courage in everybody. The normal downtrodden person who had accepted their slave status in India suddenly has been awoken into a lion. On the other side, on the political side, what does Sant Ji do to begin this resistance? They start peaceful protests. Things like the Rail Roko movement, which meant the stopping the rails for the day. The Nehru Roko movement, stopping the canals for the day. The Rasta Roko movement, stopping the roads for the day. These were batches of people that went and peacefully protested and courted arrest over protesting. So Sant Ji adopted Guru Hargobind's style of Miri Piri. They not only did the religious side of baptizing people and getting them into Sikhi and teaching them about the basic tenets of Sikhi, but they also took on the political side, put their head on the line, and led from the front with all the peaceful protests. And what happens when the Sikhs protest? What happened to the exact same thing that happened to Shaheed Jaspal Singh not so long ago? The police start to beat the Sikhs. They start to shoot at them. They start to kill them. People like Kulwant Singh Nagoke had his bones crushed by the police for daring to go to a peaceful protest. So Sant Ji, after raising these issues, has a look at the police and the government's response to them, which was what? Brutality and genocide. So what does Sant Ji do? As the tools of torture from the government grew greater, the instrument of inspiration from Sant Ji grew even greater. So they instill that passion in people, and they say, we listen to the words of our great Guru, our 10th master, Guru Gobind Singh Sahib, that when all other peaceful means fail, and the organizations that are supposed to provide those peaceful means, when those fail, then it is rightful to pick up the sword of justice. Sant Jarnail Singh Khalsa Bhindranwale picked up that sword of justice, and they protected Punjab and the people of Punjab as if they were their own children. They carried the pain of every poor person on their broad shoulders. There was Baba Deep Singh in Punjab in the 1980s. Baba Deep Singh was alive in the 1980s. Instead, it wasn't the Mughals' tyranny that was being fought. It was the tyranny of the fascist Brahmanwad think tank that was controlling India's government. Even then, this sword of justice was kept under complete restraint. Sant Jarnail Singh still tried to have some element of faith in India's judicial system. He tried to appeal to their conscience and say the people who are committing barbaric crimes against poor innocent people, bring justice to those people. Have those people who are committing these crimes in your prisons. We still believe in a democratic process. You are charging at us, you are beating us, you are harassing us, you are hounding us. Yet we are still asking and we are still appealing to your conscience to do something in a diplomatic way. What this humble man from a very, very humble background, this small villager who came from a normal family, who had a meteoric rise to fame through the Damdami exile, who kept the principles of Guru Nanak Dev Ji throughout his life, of sharing, of reciting Gurbani, Naam Japna, of Kirtkani, of hard working, of sharing everything. This guy who used to share his little chaliya and his corns was now sharing with everybody's pain. He was carrying everybody's pain. But this normal farmer who became the 14th Saint General of the Damdami Taksar, not only was he leading these peaceful protests and agitations, he was also going to funerals. At frequent funerals, Santji attended of innocent Sikhs who had been butchered by the state government. And the straw that would eventually break the back was when 13 Sikhs were massacred innocently in Amritsar 1978. When Santji stood and performed the funeral rites of these 13 innocent Sikhs who were killed by the police, he looked up to the sky and he asked his father Guru Gobind Singh. He looked up to the sky and he asked his brother Baba Deep Singh, how long does the sword of justice have to be in restraint?